Indeed, she's royal. Good morning to you, good in the Caribbean, Martinique, and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. We want to say good morning and welcome to this episode of To The Point for today, the 11th day of the month of January. Who would have imagined we are here already? What is it? Thanks to all our listeners on Classic 105.5, 105.9. And those have just joined us on GBN's television. That's Channel 11, Channel 20, and also on Channel 7 locally. Those of you via the World Wide Web at www.gbn.gd, via our Facebook feed, or via our YouTube channel. Good morning and welcome to another episode. I'm Joseph Cadore. It is an open line Monday, and certainly we're giving you the opportunity to chime in. And there's so many issues, that very often you wonder how as Grenadians, as a people, we get ourselves into everybody else's business except ours. Things of national importance, we find time to yab and talk about everything else except that which is really important. So this morning you get the opportunity to make your contributions to national development. We're not here for old talk to make Brango, to make Bacchanal, because JC, I don't have the strength for it either. Anyway, and I certainly hope that that is your position as well. Because there's so many. I was walking through, yesterday actually, and I saw and realized, it kind of dawned. You see it, but all of us one day hits you almost like an epiphany. You're like, oh, okay, really? The amount of abandoned buildings, and it only reminds me of that fire there was on Lucas Street in December, and which again, it was with another abandoned building. And prior to that, a couple of years ago, almost adjacent to the way that fire took place, where there's no unoccupied building, it's occupied now, but there's another fire. But I'm looking around and I'm noticing there's a host of abandoned buildings across the island. And not just across the island in hidden areas, but in the heart of town. And literally, it makes the capital and it makes the place look like a really an eyesore. And for me, I'm thinking, and literally, there must be something. Well, listen, whether you decide, government decides, claim them, you tear them down. But honestly, I just get the sense there's too many abandoned buildings that literally it reduces on the value, the decor, and the historic value of the tongue of St. George. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. And then I also noticed that it's becoming, I'm not sure how to put it, but if you pass through St. George's late evening around 6, 7, it's as though the sidewalk has become the dumping ground for a lot. No, believe me, I'm not sure what the arrangement is, and I'm hoping somebody could help me. I'm not sure what the arrangement is, but I'm not trying to figure the arrangement. I'm just trying to figure out why is it that at the end of the working day, that there's a lot of business owners within the town of St. George who will take the debris, their boxes, whatever it is, and put it onto the sidewalk. The sidewalk is made for pedestrians, not for boxes. And it just makes the town on an evening look so unsightly, We have a call on the line. Classic, good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning to you, and how are you?
I'm fine. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year's to you. You go ahead.
Joe, I'm listening to news, but I'm not hearing anything about the 2 blackouts that took place in the Vatican night before and last night. Neither the blackout that take place in Pakistan, the Insurrection Act that the president put out. I'm not hearing no foreign news. What really taking place? Why are we not hearing any news?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm in how I should respond to this. When you say you're not hearing,
I'm not hearing this kind of news. This news that is really developing in the outer world today. I'm not hearing it on our radio stations. I'm not hearing anything like that. I have to be searching the internet for good news. And I think if we're just in the bottom of America, we're supposed to know what's taking place out there.
Well, I'm not even going. Well, as I said, I'm not going to comment. I read news this morning, and I read 5 international stories. We read developing stories across in the U.S. We read the rescue operations of the recovery of the black box of that Indonesian flight that went down. Also on CNN and BBC, the fact that the developing issue between China and the Taiwanese mainland. And I understand your concern, but I don't think it's fair to say that there isn't there wasn't news.
But okay, I'm not hearing that news then about the Insurrection Act that is put and the Vatican outing and the blackout in Pakistan and other these kind of and the red alert they put out last night for America and the soldiers that are on ground in America and how many warplanes that is in the air in America. We're not hearing nothing about that. CNN and them not reporting that to us.
Well, here's what I would say to you, and I may probably agree. If you say that CNN isn't reporting, because I can tell you personally that when every day I go when I'm looking for news, here's what I do. I go CNN. If I want to find out what's happening in the U.S., I go CNN. If I want to find out what's happening around the world, I do BBC. I then go Al Jazeera. I then follow, there's a station that's called Euronews. So for me, I collect news.
You ever tried Newsmax?
I haven't tried Newsmax.
Well, to me, I don't follow CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera. For one, I don't believe in them. I listen to real news. I don't listen to fake news.
Well, that's a different story.
That is going on. CNN would not bring it out to us.
But I got
BBC will not bring it out.
I don't agree because that's the first place I saw it was on BBC this morning, and I also carried it on Al Jazeera.
Did BBC bring out the Nancy Pelosi laptop this
well, here's what I mean. I don't want to be having to defend BBC and what is on BBC's network. But what I'm saying, I know for us here at the GBN, we carried in our 15-minute news bulletin, there was 5 international stories in that bulletin.
Yes, I understand that because I saw the plane that collided. I read about that.
Right.
I read about lots of things, the same thing. We're not even hearing about the soldiers that are on ground in Canada.
But here's what I would suggest. I think that needs to be done. You know what? I think we are at an era that you cannot depend on anyone. Just the same way you do not necessarily say you don't trust a particular network for your news. For me, I've gotten to a point where I allow technology to work for me. So I get notifications from all of the major news networks. And I think that's a culture that we need to develop where we proactively go out and get not just news, information. And I think if as a people we get into that culture, we would then have the less of the secondhand information that we get, so that when we make a decision, it's an objective decision, because you could say, I can speak from a position of authority where I heard this, I heard that on that particular network.
Yeah, I go out and I look for news, I look for good news, because as one, when I listen to BBC and CNN and these things, they don't give us what the real truth is all about.
Well, I would probably say it doesn't give you what you are looking for. Okay, remember, news is not just it is an expansive audience. So for you, if a particular network doesn't suit your taste, then as you say, there is options. There is options. But there's a lot of news out there. I mean, I think what we need to do, as I said, is to encourage ourselves, encourage our children, our family members too, because you were very surprised. You take a story from one network, one individual, and not just news, anything. You hear a story, and then by the time it makes it around, you check some other sources, and you realize, okay, that's not it. That's not it. But as I said, what it should encourage us, and that the story should be, let us go out there and put ourselves in a position to know
last night
every day.
I called some of my family members in the States, and I asked them, look what is taking place, and they said they didn't see it on the news. And when they researched it, they say, yes, we know getting it, we know seeing it.
Well,
it's not out there.
Well, it is. You see that's the point I'm making. It may not be where you are looking for it. So we need to Google anything you want to find in this life. Just Google it.
Yeah, but.
So for me, I go to Google latest news of the day, and it pulls up news from the major news networks and news and information from around the world. So there's the traditional sources of media and there's a non-traditional sources of media. And I think we have the technology at our disposal, and what we need to do, and I will encourage all Grenadians to keep ourselves in the know. Google it.
Yes, keep ourselves in the know of what's taking place in the world. Because look at, we was talking about the vaccine, and I Googled the vaccine, and to be honest with you, what I'm seeing about this corona and this vaccine, it's troubling, it's not nice, and I wouldn't say I'm not encouraging people to take it, but I know for me to take that vaccine, they have to hold me down and give it to me.
Well, what I would tell you, though, that you have to be careful, though, and that's the challenge with information, that there is so much information.
The truth must be told.
But remember, truth is relative. Truth is.
Our nation, we will fall wrong, and we will lead our nation wrong.
But you remember, my dear, truth is relative. It there are absolute truths, and depending on which side of the fence that you're on, all of a sudden, the truth, that which is supposed to be truth to you, it becomes blurred. There's a lot of conspiracy theories when it comes to the COVID virus. What I say to individuals is read, gather information, and keep yourself in the know, so that if you need to make a decision, you make an objective decision that is based on qualified, reliable, trusted information. Because I tell you, it's not everything that you see on the internet.
It's not everything is true.
That is gospel.
We know that.
Everybody, there's always somebody that have their own agenda. So we always have, just as I said,
the Bible talk about it too, eh?
Take the information, and you always verify it. Okay, what are the experts saying? What isn't? At the end of the day, you hear a lot of things. You need to make a decision when it comes to COVID. What am I doing? How do I keep my family safe? So for me, I don't worry about whether the vaccine this or the vaccine that. I ask myself the question, what can I do? Nothing is wrong with me washing my hands.
No.
Nothing's wrong with me covering my sneeze and my cough.
No.
Nothing is wrong with me wearing a mask. Those things, it keeps me safe, and that's what I do. Because the truth is, there are some things in life we have no control over. But what we have control over, we're gonna...
One advice for our nation is to stock up a lot on food and water for at least 2 or 3 months, and be prepared for whatsoever going to happen to come. That's the message out for our nation.
Okay, no, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All the best.
Yeah.
435-2041. I'm not sure what is it. 2041. That's a number on the inside. The number is on screen. You can also make your contribution via the social media platform. So we go back to the telephone line. Classic. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning. Well, I don't know if I should say citizen or subject, Cadore, because we're going into fulfillment of 47 years of quote-unquote political independence.
Joseph would be okay.
But I know I like to put a little tight.
I know.
Now, until I reconsider that, I'll call you citizen. Cadore,
I have no problems. Yes, sir.
Listen to me. That woman there touched a very, very serious knob. Very serious knob, and this has to be subject of a lot of discussion as we come into the future. But there is something additional. Why is it that news and all of that on GBN, I tell you that's the only radio station in Grade I listen to, goes on holiday when public holidays, Saturdays and Sundays? Why? The people of this here country are left out. Totally left out. But as it regards the spin on which, by which the so-called Western media, Western the BBC and the CNNs and all of them, we have to look around the world when you want to put or to create an objective view or perspective on news. We have to look at other stations. We have to look at Press TV from Iran. Yes, Iran. We have to look at RT to get different views, Deutsche Welle. And other, and I can't say that because in other languages too significant, Joe. We starve ourselves of information. We go by what the BBC is, a propaganda machine for the British government and the United States government. We can't go by what the BBC. Look, the only thing the BBC teaches us things from is these documentary programs that they have. And even documentary relates to politics, they twist on it. But that is not what I want to talk about this morning. Can I go on?
Oh, go ahead. I'm listening to you, sir.
Listen to me. I have a major problem. As a common citizen of this country, not a well-studious man, nor any academic personality. But the thing is, when I was young, I was taught certain things, and I was taught them correctly. And because I applied myself to learning them correctly, I'm now 69, going on to the 70. I feel insulted when people get on the radio and talk bunkum. Today I want to focus on the death announcements, the obituaries, and certain things I hear there which I think I should comment and send out some lessons. Who have ears, let them hear. Let them hear. Those who have eyes, let them see. Now clearly I can't see physically, but I have a mind's eye, what is considered to be the mind's eye. Listen to this. 3 things I want to stress on. 1, the difference between adopted as an adjective and adoptive. I hear them speaking of adopted parents, total bunkum. let's get it straight. Parents or adults children do not adopt parents. Parents adopt children. Therefore, parents are adoptive parents, Tive. And adopted would go with the children, which the parents adopt. Pay attention to this difference as we try to focus on the things we tell the people of this here country, especially the children. And they hear it said on radio, so they repeat it. There's a difference. Adopted children, but adoptive parents and guardians. 2. I've heard it said from time to time on, I do not know who write these obituaries, whether it comes from the funeral agencies, but at least when it reaches to the readers in the radio station, they should recognize errors. I mean, serious errors, albeit small words. I heard an obituary repeated from time to time of a person who died, who was Grenadian, but resided at Rose Hill, at Trinidad. I heard it from time to time at Toronto. At, reside, locate, dwell, domicile, live. These verbs, according to what follows them, use different prepositions. You live in a geographic, pay attention to these words, a geographic named place. For instance, you live in St. David. You live in, whether it be a village, a country, a town, or a city, you live in. This is the rule established around that. You live at the name, a place with a name, a building, a three-dimensional building or complex at or with a number. You live at 13 Green Street, or you live at Maloney House, or some people give their house's name. You live at. These prepositions are small, but they make sense. To understand how they function so they don't give people the wrong impression. They speak of living on a street. You cannot live on a street. You live on a street, you refer to the pavement. You live in a street because the street or the hill or the whatever. It is a geographical place within the national territory. Let's get it straight and teach the children of this country to express themselves correctly.
Okay, sir.
And so I'll end there for today. I wish those who have ears hear. I will do my best on this corner because I'm a mechanic, not an English linguist, nor anything of the sort, but thank God I had the opportunity to learn a couple of languages, and therefore when you compare them, you see the differences. I urge my people to learn a second language. Young men and women, learn a second language so that you could understand yours a little more.
Thank you.
Stop here for today. Do have a nice day.
Thank you very much, sir. All the best to you. It is 18 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. It is Classic in the Morning Time. Classic 105.5, 105.9 is to the point. It's an open line. So feel free. You can chime in. 435, and well, that's for the fixed line. And then there is the WhatsApp platform. Classic, good morning. You're live.
A pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning to you, sir.
I, like yourself, have been wondering, why is it that sidewalks are littered with boxes, etc.? And it came to my mind, what is the Ministry of Health doing about this? Hasn't a law or rule been set at a certain time, or when the establishment closes, these boxes that are put out there just before closing time should move and have the sidewalk? I, at times, wonder really what is going on in Grenada. And at times when you make comments about these things that present an unsightly look for in person, we are at times strangers, visitors, they go in, and they say that what would they be thinking of us? I think that, there's sometime that the Ministry of Health, I hope the minister is set somebody to see that we don't have a repetition of that. And these people should be charged for that kind of thing. So I do hope that they take note and have the place looking as, what do you call it?
That's sightly.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. 435-2041, that is the number to get it on the inside directly into the studio. And there's the alternative option of the Facebook page, the WhatsApp portal that allows us for contribution as well. This contribution coming in here says, I fully agree, too many abandoned buildings in the town. The old CID building and Rooted General Hospital. Rooted General Hospital needs to be cleaned out from those vegans hiding in there or sleeping there. Lord help it if they decide to let it afire. Priest and parish time. I mean, I think I think the general concern is there is a number of these buildings. I'm not sure what exactly the law dictates as it relates to taking ownership, if that is possible. I don't know, but I mean, believe me, I think something needs to be done, and I think the time to do it is now. Classic, good morning, you're live. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, I certainly agree with the boxes. I am a sinner. I'm a St. Andrews man, but that happens in Grenville also, and I don't know what the reason. Even though they put the boxes outside, can it be done in a more decent way? Another thing I want to raise is, you walk about on the roads throughout the countryside, and the drains, they're very deep. And what is happening nowadays, they build, some places where they build the drains, what they build is the box drains, which too are very deep. I don't know if those places can be dumped, and then after you build the drains. Because you build those drains, which I don't drive, but I realize if your vehicle were to go down in those deep drains, you're in problems. So I think the Ministry of Works should look at, in most of the places, you build up the drains, and then you build the concrete. Have a good day, Joe. Bye.
Thank you. All the best to you. 435-2041. It is Monday morning. It is to the point. It's an open line. Today you get an opportunity to share. And I want, of course, in sharing that we share collectively, I want to remember it's for the purpose of edifying each other. Classic, you're live.
Good morning, Joe.
Yeah, good morning to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Bear in mind, as I would say, that we live in modern days. We're in a modern era. And maybe those things are happening comes with modernity. Now, I have looked into a lot of things that are happening that are irregular and should never happen. For example, we have laws, and we expect to obey the laws. For example, we have laws in Grenada that tells you that you should build a number of feet from the road. But having those laws on the book, who is trying to carry it out? Nobody. For example, I've seen houses, shops, even in St. George's. You have big trucks. For example,
because I don't necessarily totally agree with you that nobody governs those laws. Also, if there's something specific you want to make reference to, then let's be specific about it so that we don't generalize.
Yes, sir, I agree with you. That's your opinion. Okay. Let me continue if you want, because I don't want you to take up so much of my time.
You
what you giving me? What you giving me? Anyhow, let's go ahead. We have some shops on the side of the port, and we have big trucks passing, big trailers. You could hardly pass, or two vehicles can hardly pass in these areas. You have places on the side of the roads where shops are built. You have sales place as well as sell provisions and so on, ground provision, apples and this and that. As for example in Tempe, where there is a sign that tells you about how many miles to Grenville and this and that. Yet for all, the authorities For example, the people who are interested, who have to see after these things, I think the policemen too have to look into it that your view is clear. Yet they're allowing people to build sheds, permanent sheds, beautifying them and putting them in front of a sign. Is that right? Is this obeying the laws? No, I don't even understand. So we have to do something adversely to prevent those things. Look at, we're talking about people should wear masks. Yet we have drivers not wearing masks. I would have make a law that all drivers should be responsible for people coming on the bus without laws, and they will give them 6 months. Let's say allow them, put them on ban for 6 months.
Well, on the issue of the public transport, it is the orders. The impetus is on them that they first you sanitize upon entry, and if somebody for some reason there's failure to comply, the onus is on you to get them to wear their masks.
Yes, or otherwise put them out or ask them to stay out.
And I've heard of cases where that has happened. So it's the onus is on the driver.
So
I think on each and every one of us to play our part.
We're wasting time.
Okay. Great, thanks a lot. So 26 minutes gone past the hour is the sound of classic in the morning time. It's an open line, but we have to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back on To The Point for today, Monday, the 11th day of January.
Grenada's chief medical officer has ordered that all confirmed positive COVID-19 individuals, their contacts, and members of their household must remain in quarantine or isolation for 14 days. Anyone who fails to comply with this order will be in breach of the Public Health COVID-19 Regulations 2020 and is guilty of an offense. Upon summary conviction, that person will be liable to a penalty of up to $10,000. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Exploring the beaten trails, discovering uncharted terrain, connecting with people and places, giving a renewed appreciation for our flora and fauna. We are out and about. From the crystal white sands of Grandin's Beach to the cascading and majestic tumble of Concord Falls, the meandering of the St. John's River, or our undulating mountain ranges. We are out and about. Saturdays, live on GBN Television, our Facebook page, and our YouTube channel. Out and about, rediscovering the untamed beauty of Spice Country.
Feel good facts.
Avoid the most common causes of spreading the flu. Cover your coughs and sneezes with a tissue, dispose of it straight away, and either wash your hands or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Coughs and sneezes spread diseases. So cover coughs and sneezes, please. Not with a rag or bandana. They trap germs. When you use the rag again, you put germs on your hands and everything else you touch. When you cough or sneeze, cover your mouth and nose with tissue. Throw the tissue in a bin and wash your hands afterwards. If you don't have a tissue, cough into your sleeve or elbow. Alcohol-based hand sanitizers are also effective in cleaning hands.
11th day of January. It is an open line, and let's see what's happening via social media. This person says, don't tear them down. They are historical buildings. They should be. Well, yes, and before you get into that, remember the conversation was not that of tearing them down. It was that of highlighting them and agreeing with you that maybe she should be repossessed and to maintain the historical aspects. But who does it? Is there a law that governs that? And how long? I mean, take for instance, you look, there's a number, and even government-owned buildings. You look at Woolwich Road. There's the old Parliamentary Electoral Office. There's the old York House that we've heard conversations for forever. Yes, we talk about maintaining its historical value, but while we're doing that, it's devaluing the current status of the tongue of St. George. But my dear sir, I do agree with you that I think something definitely it needs to be done, and that's not up for question. Classic, good morning. Are you alive?
Good morning, Mr. Cadore. Happy New Year. Thank you for all
Thank
the
you.
music.
Happy New Year to you.
I want to talk to the lady who called before Mr. Rollo, who was criticising the news. Now, wherever you go on any channel, you're going to get people who don't agree with what you want to do. And I must say, Al Jazeera, I agree with you about BBC being good. How about PBS? How about Sky TV? I don't know if she has those channels on her TV, but there's the internet. But there's also Bush Telegraph. My stepdaughter in New York tells me things I didn't even know was happening in Grenada before. She's in New York.
Right.
She tells me on Messenger. So you see, there's Messenger, as you say, there's Facebook, and then there's fake news. So we have to try and discern what is genuine and what is not genuine, and how do you do that, Mr. Cadore? That's the question I'm asking people today. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. You take care. And that's the question. How do you determine? Well, you gather the information, check your sources, and see how best you can evaluate and make an objective analysis from that which is available to you. Classic, good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Morning, JC. How are you today?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Okay. I'm calling on the people who are in charge of the independence celebration. If they could do a Zoom for the independence celebration and people could use their phone and sing to the independence song, because I don't think that they'll be having a big celebration because of the COVID. So if they could do a Zoom, the government could do a Zoom, and people could get the number and you could use it, and, people could do a thing for that. Also, by the port, as the guy said, the port is really tied up. There's so many little sharks built on the side of the port, and so many people come for lunch sometimes, and they just block the traffic up. I don't know why the fire station is right there, and why they allow that, or get a police to put there to make those guys know they can't park there, put some no parking cones, because they always tie up the traffic on the ground there. They shouldn't build all these boots on the ground there, and the hole. They should build them behind the fence, and where they had the barn house, somewhere in the corner there, those boots should be somewhere around there. Anyway, thank you very much, sir.
Great, thank you very much for your contribution, sir. 435-2041. This contribution comes, says, why hasn't the Ministry of Health and the Prime Minister addressed the problem of human feces running in the street and posing a grave health risk to the residents who repeatedly call this program and beg for help? Are they waiting for the people to dump their feces in front of their homes? Or are they playing politics? 435-2041, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Hi, good morning, Joe.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to your followers on the various platforms. I'd like to focus on something different this morning. The passing of Gordon Booth Stewart. I think it would be remiss of me if I didn't pay some sort of, in my own way, some tributes to this man. Many people in Grenada don't seem to understand that, because it seems as though both political parties have been shy to embrace him and to acknowledge him. Now, when Booth Stewart came to Grenada to purchase that hotel, in 13 and a half years before that, under the three terms of the NNP, we only had a total of 62 rooms added to our room stock. The data is there. You can check with the Grenada Tourism Authority, and you can see how many rooms were added between 1995 and 2012. We only had 62 rooms in 13 and a half years. Boots Stewart Sandals was, I would say, a game changer in Grenada. Not only did he come and bring construction, which was dormant during the time of the NDC, although the construction came after they left. He brought construction to Grenada. He started the construction boom. And from that big construction project, trickled down others. He also gave a level of exposure and publicity to Grenada. The Sanders brand alone, the one in Grenada, the Grenada property alone spent more on advertising of that property than Grenada spent totally as a destination. And when you add that to the brand advertising of Sandals, we got exposure that we would have never, ever had. Sandals brought all the new airlines that we got. Hadn't it been for Sandals, the JetBlues and all the others and the increased frequencies of flights, it was a major game changer. Now, the NDC is shy to admit it because they were accused by the NNP of giving too many concessions. And the NNP doesn't want to embrace them because they were the ones who brought him. So it seems as though Sanders was stuck there, and they never, ever got the recognition that they truly deserved. But hadn't it been for Sanders, all these new properties that are coming now under the CBI and so, they would not have happened. Most of them would not have happened. Sanders changed Grenada for good. And I think that we as a people must learn to recognize when someone has done something significant for our country. And I'm not satisfied. I'm not convinced that Sanders has been given the recognition. There have been negative things here and there, but overall, we are where we are today because of Sanders. And I think Mr. Butch Stewart must be truly recognized as a hero and a game changer in the Grenadian economy. And I don't think it's happening just yet.
Okay, sir.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. All the best to you. It is 22 minutes on to the hour of 10 o'clock. It's the sound of Classic 105.5, 105.9 on the FM band. Remember, it is to the point. It is an open line. And today you're getting the opportunity to share, to weigh in on your thoughts, comments, and anything that relates to nation building. Classic, good morning. You're live.
Yes, good morning. I'm calling to report that GBN Channel 7 in St. Andrews, St. James to be exact, is not showing good at all. The station is jumping. It's making a very loud noise.
And how long has that been happening?
Since it came back on, it went off for some time. When
how long?
Problems.
I need a date. I'm not sure when it came back on.
I can't remember exactly, but it's a couple of weeks now.
Okay, and that's in the St. James area?
Yes, Channel 7, GBM. I'm afraid the TV is going to spoil because it's not showing clearly, and it's making a kind of a loud, screeching sound. And then the station would go off for a few seconds, and then it would come back on.
Are you the only person having a problem?
No, other persons in the area
it's a general problem.
having the same problem.
And that's in St. James?
Pardon me?
And that's in St. James, you said?
St. James in St. Andrews,
Great.
yes.
Thank you very much.
Channel 7.
I'll take the information and pass it on to the engineers.
Thank you very much.
All the best to you. Have a great day.
Thanks, and same to you.
435-2041. It's the sound of Classic in the morning time. Classic 105.5, 105.9. What are your thoughts? You get an opportunity to share it. Your thoughts, your concerns, anything related and specific to nation building. Certainly, you can chime in and have your contribution. We're going to go to the WhatsApp portal in a bit. Classic, good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, I have an autistic grandson who is very, very aggressive. He has broke my TV, the cable box, my microwave, and he destroys everything. Last day I went to this child protection, whatever, in Scott Street. They said they cannot help, only if he's physically abused. Now I want to ask them, what about being parental abuse? Because his mother have to run from him when he tells him she's also sick, so I have two sick people. She usually has seizures, and I cannot leave that house because sometimes when I leave the house, I'm worrying if I'll come and meet one of them died. Because anything he has, he'll just felt it. I just need some help. He can't even go to school because he's going to sleep about 2 in the morning,
But you
and I
said
can't get sleep also.
the child is autistic.
Yes.
So what should be is that this child, there's professional help that is needed. So I wouldn't agree with you that to say that he's sick. A child suffering with anyone suffering with autism is not. You can't
yes,
say
but
that they're sick.
I was saying that my daughter is also sick.
No. I understand that. I was just saying that the child is autistic, not necessarily
But
sick.
yes, I know he's not sick. I know that's a condition.
I would suggest. I'm not sure exactly. I know that there's a team within the SGU. I know that for a fact. There is an association. I can't point you to tell you the direct name or number, but I'm thinking if you start possibly within the Ministry of Education, because for instance, the school at the Limes.
That's where he goes to school, and I went to the ministry. They sent me to the people in Scott Street, and I'm just going over and over all around, and nothing is being done.
Well,
I go all about already.
And I'm understanding your frustration because, I mean, from my understanding and having seen and read and heard of persons' experience with individuals that are autistic, I know it can be challenging. But yet, at the end of the day, if they get the help and the support that they need, they certainly can lead relatively easy lives. I'm not sure if you need to speak with somebody different, somebody else, but what I can say to you is, for a child, he requires specific needs. And from what I've learned of these kids, if you're angry, they get upset, you get upset, that doesn't help. And it's a very challenging...
May I just tell you, sure. I know the condition of that child. Okay, I know the condition of that child. I have lived with him since he was about 8 years growing up. We noticed that kind of behavior.
So what are you suggesting?
I'm asking is that somebody could give me advice where to go to get help.
Well, my dear, that is what I'm doing. That is what I'm saying to you. I'm offering you that advice here and now. And one of the advice that I'm giving you, because I'm saying to you, an autistic person, it is difficult from what I've read on my own. But I'm just saying that very often, when they react, you react in that same nature, it can help to fuel their situation, the current situation. I'm not saying that you're not trying, and I can well imagine that you are frustrated. Here's what I would suggest. If you mind, what is your telephone number? If you mind giving it to me on air.
My telephone number is 444 5102.
And your name, please?
My name is Olive Gilbert. I could tell you my name because everybody knows the problem.
That's fine. So
and I'm a retired nurse, and that's why I'm telling you that I know about that child. And if I wasn't with this child, maybe might have done many more things. But it's just that I alone, and it's not that I'm frustrated, but I just need some help.
Right. So here's what I'll do for you. I will personally, when I get off the phone, I would make some calls for you. And I promise you, when I get off my shift at 10 o'clock, I'll make some calls and I will follow up with you as to how we can get some assistance, both for you for the child, and at least get some support for you as well.
I really thank you because I am tired being pushed around. They will tell me, go there, I go there, and it's just the same thing. I'm not getting no help.
I will personally work on that for you. As I said, I have numbers, but they're not coming to my head. But I know there is a support team, there's an organization that works and can assist you in dealing with and addressing the concern of the child. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All the best to you. Right. 15 minutes on to the hour in the morning time is the sound of Classic 105.5, 105.9. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please. Good morning, caller. 435-2041. There is so much that has to be. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Yeah, good morning, JC.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes. What did the lady have to do, right? I ain't telling you what to do, but if it's me, what I would I do, right? I would have just pet the child, and talk to the child for the child get calm, because what really happen, what he's doing, it comes from his brain, right? And if you calm him down, then for a little while, then he will get back normal. So back to you in observed 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Bido. You're right. We need to figure out what therapeutic method that we use that will allow him to calm and you reciprocate whatever it is that he's feeling and expressing whatever is on the inside. But a difficult situation, no doubt for her. Classic, good morning. It is 15 minutes onto the hour of 10. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Joseph, how are you doing this morning?
I am wonderful.
Well, Keith Mitchell and them are on and take the Grenlec, although the Grenlec was doing a fantastic job and also a good corporate citizen. And I don't want to, if I could, I can't himself go through the amount of the significance and what has Grenlec done to improve the lives of people in this country. And there will be real missed in terms of the quality of the service, and I hope everything continues, because I hear Keith Mitchell and them say they want to have some management person, they employ a person to manage the company, and I think that is an insult to Grenadians, because Grenadians are capable of managing. They are the same Grenadians who has managed the company efficiently for all these years. I also want to talk about what I hear public servant Gregory Bowen, because I think, I'm not sure if you heard me say.
No, you said public servants and you said Minister Bowen.
Public servant Gregory Bowen, because he's a public servant, because I pay his salary, so we're not going into that. I heard him talk about, and they're accountable to us. So we're not going into that, because you see, they have to be accountable to us, and you hear people calling all the time saying, oh, we need information, they're not telling us this and they're not telling us that. So the bottom line is that we disrespect them, but the bottom line is from Keith Mitchell down, they're public servants and pay their salary.
I understand.
Right, okay, so we're not going into that.
Fairness to the process.
Right, so I'm just saying that they're accountable to us. And I hear he say something about load shedding started. That's if I listen correctly. And I don't think load shedding started, because up to today, there's no load shedding. And I want to remind people about the 26 years ago, under the same Gregory Bowen, and under if you look into the World Report, which I wouldn't go into, because the World Report alleges that the people who manage the electricity services at that point in time should be, if you read the report, I didn't have to continue. They didn't do a proper job, and we had load shedding. So I don't want us to go back to this load shedding again. But what I'm trying to say is that I think we have capable people of managing the company. I would love to see the stability of the company, the jobs come back. And on top of that, I thought they'd make a big announcement with effect immediately electricity prices go down. Because that was the main thing Keith Mitchell and me talking about, electricity prices are high and everything. And I'm calling on them to immediately come to the nation and tell the nation, and not himself going about the money and where it's appropriate or whether it was done illegally. I'm not talking about that. But you run your mouth so much about this price. I'm calling on Keith Mitchell to come right now on the program or some other means immediately and say with immediate effect, because all you own it now. We own it now. The price of electricity has to go down. And just let me tell people that all the things that in Grenada, the assets of Grenada, people always have a tendency to say it's government. But everything is the taxpayers of this country. We own the schools, we own the road, we own everything. So it's not government. And I want to tell Keith Mitchell and them, everything belongs to the taxpayers of this country.
Well, ma'am, I understand your frustration, but I mean, the concern I have here is that the seeming persistence in wanting to be disrespectful. We are on a public platform. If you want, you may have your concerns, your grievances against any person within the political fray. But I don't think anything is wrong if your intention is sincere, that you can say the Prime Minister, or you could say the Prime Minister. But to blatantly, therein lies one of the challenge within our society. And then when our young people, they do otherwise or contrary, then we castigate them. Listen, you don't have to like anybody, but you owe them due respect. You don't want to say Dr. Keith Mitchell, you don't want to say whatever it is, you can just say the Prime Minister. But you just can't blatantly, he is the Prime Minister, and that's it is what it is. 435-2041 2041 is the sound of classic in the morning time. Go ahead, please. You're live.
Good morning, Ted. How are you?
I am wonderful, thank you.
Yes, this lady has no respect for government. All stations she goes to, she always say this thing. And this is very disrespectful. People like that, you just have to cut them off. Sometimes their intentions may be good, sometimes they say something, but you must have respect. And she's the one that has no respect, and this is not something nice to the nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 435-2041, that's the number on the inside. Let's see what's happening with social media. The caller says, this person says, while the point the caller made about sandals may be true, the government sold out the workers' rights when they made the deal because the workers don't have a voice and in some cases have been exploited and victimized. Let's see what else is happening via social media. It says national development is getting the kids back in the classroom as soon as possible. Our nation's children's education needs more action. What else? We're going back to social media. Let's see what's happening here. I think this is again just a general call concerning the dilapidated buildings. Can the owners be requested to destroy or upgrade these buildings? If not, be acquired by the government. Also, the tongue needs a facelift. Can the owners be given an incentive to beautify their buildings and to make the tongue beautiful? And that's an important point that I shared with an individual. But we worry about maintaining its historical context. But really and truly, the tongue sometimes it needs a facelift. Classic, good morning. You're live.
Yes, good morning, my brother.
Hi. Good morning to you.
How are you do, darling?
I am wonderful, thank you.
I'm like wonderful too. God bless you.
Well, God bless you as well.
Yes, you see that. I still go call her sister Anne-Marie. I don't call her that. See, sister Anne-Marie, I have a little 4 years child. She and she father and she mother does go down to work, but she does like to come by me and she does come down with her father. He had one day. And on the rack, they coming out, you know. Papa, yo, the child make the father pick her up and running down. She's starting to ballot my name from the top of the hill. Tanti Oma, Tanti Oma, Tanti Oma. Take out that woman on the air. I don't like to hear her. When she come down to me and say, no, baby. When you meet her, you have to say Tanti Anne-Marie. She say, who? Me? Tanti Oma, you mad? I go call that woman Tanti Anne-Marie. And she coming on the radio. And she saying, kid, no. Tanti Oma, not calling that woman Tanti. You're calling her Anne-Marie. Hello? Yes, Papa, that is how it is. And I mustn't keep it only that radio station alone that woman does be on. No other radio station.
Well, we don't want to get into the debate as to. I think what we should the takeaway from this is that that we need the whole issue of respect. You know, we continue to chide. We continue to talk about the reduced fiber, that the fact that our children, that they've lost respect, they've lost their moral compass. But I keep saying the challenge to that argument is that they live what they learn. And as I would continue to say, we don't have to agree, we don't have to like. All that is required is mutual respect. Plain and simple. That's all that is it. Have a good one, Miss caller. 435-2041. We go back to the telephone lines. Classic, good morning. 5 minutes to the hour. You're live. Hello, caller. Caller, you're live. I seem to be having some difficulties with that telephone line, with the quality of that call. 435-2041. It is 4 minutes on to the hour, 10 o'clock in the morning time. I probably may have time just to engage one last caller for about 2 minutes or so. Classic, good morning, you're live. Hello, caller, you're live. And we seem to be having some difficulties with that caller. Let's just go back to the telephone, to the WhatsApp portal as we get ready to wrap up today's edition of To The Point. I'm also just going to check to see any comments. This person says, folks, we can, and I'm not even going to go into and indulge this. If you get into saying, well, this one never respected me, so I'm not going to respect him. Now, folks, if you're having that conversation one-on-one with you and I can readily understand and I appreciate it, your concern. I know that it isn't that I don't understand. When you come on a national radio station, remember, you're not speaking to Joseph by himself. You're speaking to the world. And I have a difficulty if we would use a national station for individuals to vent. So because a former leader did not express certain sentiments, it is wrong, it is wrong. And saying I'm not going to do it because Dr. Mitchell didn't give former Prime Minister Tillman Thomas whatever respect, therein lies the problem. Do we continue to add insult to injury? At some point we say no, that which is wrong and should not be tolerated, will not be encouraged. So let's not, take on this argument about who did it and who didn't. If something is wrong, it is wrong, and we owe it to ourselves, to the upcoming generation, to rid ourselves of that kind of blatant disrespect that we have for one another. Peace and love, JC loves you. It's 3 minutes onto the hour in the morning time. This is the way we say so long, farewell. It was a pleasure being here with you folks. We do this tomorrow from 6:30 again in the morning. The good Lord's willing, that's where I say I take my departure, and I will leave you in the capable hands of the man, the golden child, that would carry you through up until 12 midday. JC loves you. Over and out. Have yourself a really wonderful and productive day, Grenada.